You've always felt it, haven't you? That subtle tug, the nagging feeling that what you see isn't quite the whole picture. We call it reality, but it functions more like a film reel projected onto the screen of your perception. Every shadow, every vivid color, every character playing their part, all sourced from something else, something hidden from plain view. This isn't just about what you observe, it's about the very mechanism doing the observing. You are not a passive audience member in the grand cinema of existence. You are, in a profound and unsettling way, the projector itself. Your consciousness casts the very images you perceive as external truth. Think of those moments when life felt stubbornly unyielding, when the same patterns returned again and again, like a scratch on the film. It wasn't the external world resisting your desires. It was the projector, humming along with its preset reels, faithfully rendering what it was programmed to show. The irony is profound. You are trapped by the very light you generate. The world appears fixed, solid, and undeniable, yet its apparent permanence is merely a function of your own consistent output. The question, then, isn't about changing the film on the screen, but about altering the projector. This leads directly into understanding your very identity as rendering software. And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. These revelations aren't random, and if this video found you, it was meant to. Now let's begin. Your sense of self, that deep, unwavering I am, is far more than a name or a history. It is the core algorithm, the operating system that dictates precisely how your personal reality is constructed and presented. Think of it as a sophisticated rendering engine, constantly processing data and assembling the world around you, moment by agonizing moment. This software, your identity, doesn't just create your external landscape. It shapes your inner world too. Your beliefs, your fears, your deepest convictions, these are the lines of code that tell the projector what kind of images to generate. If your software renders a world of scarcity, scarcity is what you will inevitably experience, not as a random event, but as a deliberate output. When you've struggled to change, to break free from old patterns, it's not a failure of will. It's the robust stability of this rendering software, designed to maintain consistency above all else. It fights against new inputs, resisting any update that might threaten its current, familiar version of reality. The pain of stagnation, the frustration of repetition, these are merely error messages from an outdated program. Your outer world is a perfect, unblinking mirror of the inner coding. And much of that coding, those deeply ingrained directives, originate in the very fabric of your past experiences, which leads us to the intricate relationship between memory and the observer effect. You believe your memories are accurate recordings of events, snapshots of a fixed past. But what if they are not? What if memory itself is a fluid, dynamic process, constantly reauthored in the present moment by the very act of remembering? This isn't just a philosophical query, it's a fundamental mechanism of observation. Every time you recall an event, you are not simply replaying a static file, you are actively recreating it. And in that act of recreation, your current state, your present beliefs, your emotional filters of right now subtly modify the original experience. This is the observer effect applied to your own personal history. Your perception of the past is never neutral. It's always colored by your current identity, shaping how you interpret causes, intentions, and outcomes. This continuous resculpting of memory isn't malicious. It's how your system strives for internal consistency, validating your present narrative by subtly rewriting your past to fit. This means the truth of your past is not absolute. It's a living, breathing story you tell yourself over and over, and in telling it, you reinforce not just the memory, but the identity that relies on it. And this brings us directly into the powerful, often invisible engine of the reinforcement trap. The reinforcement trap is a feedback loop, a vicious cycle that locks your reality into place. Your identity, operating as rendering software, accesses your memories, which are themselves being reauthored by your current identity. This constant validation creates a prison of self-fulfilling prophecy. You observe an experience in the present, interpret it through existing filters, and then that interpretation retroactively solidifies itself into your past memory banks. These newly solidified memories then confirm your identity's framework, which in turn primes you to observe similar experiences in the future. It's a self-sustaining echo chamber. Every perceived failure, every missed opportunity, every pattern of rejection you've faced, these weren't random occurrences. They were precisely rendered outcomes, meticulously reinforced by this recursive loop. You felt this loop, but never named it, never truly understood its mechanical precision. Breaking free isn't about willpower, it's about disrupting this carefully constructed feedback system. It's about understanding that the seemingly solid walls of your reality are actually just reflections bouncing between identity and memory. This leads us to confront the deepest illusion of all, the myth of the fixed past. The idea that the past is a solid, unchangeable bedrock of what was is perhaps the most convincing illusion your perception maintains. You're told history is written, facts are facts. Yet we've just seen how memory is a pliable, living entity, constantly shifting and adapting. This isn't just theory, it's how your observational system operates. Your past is not a static archive. It's an active ingredient, a dynamic component in the real-time creation of your present moment. Every time you hold onto a grudge, relive regret, or cling to a past glory, you are literally pouring energy into its continued existence as a dominant force in your reality. The events themselves might have occurred, yes, but their meaning, their gravitational pull on your future, is entirely a construct of your present observer. The fixed past is a consensual agreement between your present identity and your current memory of that identity. To change your future, you must understand your power over the past, not by erasing it, but by reperceiving it. This means challenging the very inertia that keeps you anchored. This directly connects to the concept of identity inertia and time loops. Identity inertia is the powerful resistance your rendering software exhibits against change. Like a massive object in motion, your established self-concept wants to continue in its current trajectory. It's comfortable, familiar, even if that trajectory leads to repeated pain or stagnation. This inertia is the engine behind time loops. You find yourself back in the same argument, the same financial struggle, the same relationship dynamic, even with different people. These aren't random coincidences, they are the reverberations of your identity's inertia, stubbornly rendering the familiar pattern. Your observer is stuck on replay. Each loop reinforces the belief that this is just how things are for me, further solidifying the identity that creates the loop in the first place. You become trapped in a self-perpetuating cycle where the past dictates the present, which then rebuilds the past endlessly. To break these loops, you can't push harder against the current iteration. You must shift the initial trajectory of the identity itself. This requires a profound act of surrender, a letting go of what you believe you know, which brings us to the paradox of letting go. The paradox of letting go is this. The harder you clutch onto a particular outcome, a specific identity, or a preferred version of reality, the more you paradoxically push it away. Your grip tightens because of fear, because of a desperate need for control, but this very act creates resistance within the quantum field of possibility. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about releasing the tension in your observer. It's about recognizing that your current reality, the one you're struggling within, is the precise manifestation of your current grip. To truly shift, you must loosen your hold on the familiar, on the known, on what you think you are. This often feels like a death, a descent into the unknown, because it is. You are letting go of the identity that built this reality, allowing it to dissolve, even if you don't yet know what will replace it. This is the uncomfortable space where true creation begins. This act of profound release empowers you to engage in an entirely different kind of creative work, re-narrating the memory loop. If your memories are constantly being reauthored and your past isn't fixed, then you possess the radical power to consciously re-narrate your memory loop. This isn't about deluding yourself or denying what happened. It's about choosing a new filter, a new interpretation, a new meaning for those past events. Instead of seeing a past failure as proof of inadequacy, what if you reframe it as a crucial lesson, a necessary catalyst for growth? This subtle but profound shift in perspective changes the energetic signature of the memory. It cuts its tether to your current identity's inertia. By actively choosing a new story for your past, you're not changing the facts of the event, but rather the emotional and energetic charge it carries. You are severing the reinforcement trap's power, preventing the past from dictating your present and future. This process begins by identifying the core emotional filters that have colored your memories. This brings us face to face with the crucial step of disowning emotional filters. Your emotional filters are the unseen lenses through which you perceive not only the present, but also how you interpret and store your past experiences. Fear, shame, resentment, victimhood, these are powerful colors that tint every memory, every observation, every projected reality. You are often unaware of their persistent influence. These filters are not simply feelings. They are active agents in your rendering software. They dictate what information gets highlighted, what gets suppressed, and what kind of story your system constructs about yourself and your world. They are the invisible bias in your personal observation. To disown them is not to repress them, but to recognize their artificiality. To understand that they are not inherent truths about you, but rather learned responses, embedded subroutines from your past programming. They are not who you are, they are merely how you've been configured to see. By consciously detaching from these filters, you begin to see your memories, and consequently your present reality, with greater clarity and objectivity. This act of detachment directly impacts how quickly new realities can emerge, leading us to understand reality lag and memory momentum. Reality lag is the noticeable delay between when you consciously decide to change your identity or perception and when your external reality fully catches up. It's the frustrating period where you feel you're doing the inner work, but nothing seems to shift on the outside. This lag is primarily caused by memory momentum. Your established memories, infused with their emotional filters, possess a powerful momentum. They are like a vast, deeply grooved record player, continuing to spin out the familiar tunes of your past reality. Even as you begin to scratch new grooves, the older, deeper ones still want to play. This momentum is why old patterns resurface, why doubts creep in, and why it's so easy to slip back into familiar mental programs. It's not that your new intentions aren't working. It's that the sheer cumulative weight of your past perceptions still exerts a powerful pull. Understanding reality lag and memory momentum means recognizing that sustained, conscious effort is required to overcome this inertia. It calls for actively creating memory breaks and timeline collapses. Memory breaks are intentional acts of dismantling the coherent narrative of your past, particularly those segments that reinforce your unwanted current reality. This isn't about forgetting, but about reassigning meaning and severing emotional ties. Consciously recalling a difficult memory and observing it without the charge of its old emotional filter creates a significant break. These breaks accumulate as more and more old, restrictive memories lose their emotional and energetic hold. Their momentum dissipates. This creates openings, fissures, not just in your personal timeline, but in the entire structure of your perceived reality. These openings are timeline collapses. A timeline collapse is not a chaotic event. It's a necessary unraveling. It's when the old, rigid, limiting version of your reality can no longer sustain itself because the underlying memories that powered it have been disarmed. It's the moment the old projection flickers and starts to dissolve. These collapses are opportunities, not calamities. They are the clearing of the old ground, preparing the space for something new to be rendered. This leads inevitably to the personal revelation found in mirror tests and micro-experiments. The mirror test is a subtle but potent exercise. Look at your current circumstances, especially the ones you wish to change, and ask yourself, what memory, what identity, what belief am I holding onto that continues to project this exact reality? Your external world is the perfect, unflinching mirror. Micro-experiments are deliberate, focused attempts to alter your perception and memory, even in small, seemingly insignificant ways. Choose one minor memory, a past slight, a small regret, and consciously re-narrate it, injecting a new meaning or a different emotional response. Observe the shift. These small shifts create ripples. They introduce new data into your rendering software, challenging its old algorithms. They are like tiny cracks in the dam of your established reality, allowing new possibilities to seep through. Each successful micro-experiment reinforces your power as the observer. The goal isn't immediate, monumental change. It's consistent, deliberate intervention. It's about proving to your own system that it can, in fact, render something new. All these exercises eventually lead to the radical question, who are you without that memory? This is the ultimate question, the core of identity reconstruction. If you were to fully disown all the memories that bind you to struggle, to limitation, to the old story of who you are, who would you be then? What new identity would emerge from the void of the collapsed past? Imagine shedding the weight of every past failure, every perceived flaw, every painful experience. Not in denial, but in recognition that their meaning and power were projections of an outdated self. Without those defining anchors, your true self, your unbounded potential, begins to surface. This is where true creation happens, with the past's momentum neutralized, with the old rendering software updated, you are free to define yourself anew. You become the conscious architect of your present and future, unburdened by the echoes of what was. The space left by disowned memories is not empty, it is filled with pure potential, awaiting your new command. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.